70 KVI. What did your kids learn in school today?
Oh, good grief.
Don't want to be an American idiot. It's time to discuss the miseducation of America on the Ari Hoffman Show.
We spend a lot of time telling you about the insanity that's going on college campuses, but in the City University of New York's Kingsborough Community College, it's reached a new level of crazy. Now a professor who has called out anti-Semitism and attacks on the Jewish state of Israel is being investigated by the system for filing a complaint. Joining us now on the Genuine Autoglass studio line is Kingsborough Community College professor Jeffrey Lax. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ari. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So tell me exactly what happened from the beginning.
Oh boy! Well, the beginning, you kind of need a flow chart for this, but I'll try to do the best I can on the radio program. The beginning goes back a long way. There's really a long history of horrifying anti-Semitism at CUNY, at my campus, like you said, Kingsborough. And just to make a very long story short about what's been going on there for the past few years, there was a large group of very radical, progressive, left-wing faculty members. They called themselves the Progressive Faculty Caucus. And they had some rules, Ari. Would you like to hear a couple of their rules?
Absolutely. Tell me what they are. I assume it involves hating Jews.
Yes. You assume correct.
Yeah.
That seems to be one of the top, requirements nowadays of being a radical leftist. So one rule was that Orthodox Jews were not allowed into their group. They literally had a rule banning Orthodox and also Zionist Jews from their group. In other words, if you wanted to, let's say you were a progressive. Let's say you were a progressive Jew and you happen to be Orthodox. You were turned down. They actually turned down 6 different Orthodox Jews. The group had 100 people. No Orthodox Jews, no Zionist Jews, and 100 group of people, and they scheduled their events on Friday nights so that Orthodox Jews could not come. So now I filed a complaint with the the EEOC, Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, and I prevailed. And when I say I prevailed, Ari, I got to tell you, the language was excoriating. They confirmed, they substantiated every single one of my claims, that they banned Orthodox Jews, that events were held on Friday nights, that there was a system of a hostile environment for Orthodox and Zionist Jews on our campus. So I won across the board. Now, when any other oppressed group that we know about, any other protected class wins in a discrimination investigation that lasted a year, by the way, on the merits, usually something happens. In our case, not only did nothing happen, but the president of my college refused to speak to me after I won, and I'm a department chair, so I report directly to her. Do you have my direct supervisor, who now has not spoken to me for 2 years because I won? Not because I made the claims, because I prevailed on the claim. So that's the background here. So I have a 2-year EEOC finding where the president has done nothing but been actually vicious to me. She's retaliated against me in numerous ways. I'm not going to, take up the time on your show to go through all of them because it's boring, but it's horrible. But to answer your question, the most recent development was this. So after 2 years of her doing nothing and treating me terribly and treating all Orthodox and Zionist Jews on our campus terribly, because it's not about me, it's about everybody like me on my campus, she decided, you know what, I'm going to hire, I know we have this problem with anti-Semitism, so I'm going to hire someone to handle the anti-Semitism, a DEI officer. What does she do? She creates a committee with a BDS person in charge of hiring this person who's going to handle anti-Semitism. Can you imagine?
So BDS, let's break this down so everybody who's listening understands. That's the Boycott, Divest, Sanction movement. It's an anti-Semitic movement. So that's basically saying they grabbed an anti-Semitic person to investigate the claims made by the Jew.
100% correct. So I filed a complaint saying, I'm not advocating to fire this person. I'm not advocating to reprimand her in any way. She has a right, an absolute right in this country to be a bigot. I fully support your right to be a horrible person, a bigot, completely 100%. I give you that right. But you should not be on a committee to hire a Jewish representative. That's all I ask.
Here's the crazy thing to me. So Ina Vernikov, I keep doing that automatically. I just say Seattle City Council. A New York City Council member is doing a whole investigation into the CUNY system, especially the anti-Semitism. And they have found this time after time after time. And it took a while to get the dean, the chancellor even involved. And yet they keep saying, oh, no, we're not really doing anything about it. Oh, no, we're trying to do something about it. They have all these excuses. I keep thinking, if this was a black community member, if this was a Hispanic community member, if this was an LGBTQ community member, not only would the university be up in arms, not only would they have dealt with it swiftly, but it would have been in all the media. And yet your story is getting no coverage, and this is obvious discrimination.
Not only that, so the kicker here, here's the kicker. The BDS person was upset that we thought BDS people shouldn't be hiring anti-Semitism representatives on our campus, and so she filed a complaint against me because of my complaint. So now CUNY has hired an outside investigative team to investigate me for filing my discrimination complaint.
So let me just make sure I got this right. Now, New York City taxpayer dollars are being used to investigate you who filed a discrimination case against these people who are openly advocates of discriminating against Jewish people.
Right. They're actually, and I have a spotless record, Ari. I've been an 18-year faithful employee. Totally, I've never had any issues. I do my job. I work hard. I'm well respected at my job. And they are actually investigating me for filing a discrimination complaint at the college.
So if they're doing this to you, and we're talking with Professor Jeffrey Lax over from Kingsborough College in the University of New York's CUNY system, if they're investigating you, if they're doing this to you and you're a professor who's been there for 18 years, how do the kids on campus feel?
I really think, I get calls every semester. We're in Brooklyn, New York. So Brooklyn, New York, for people in Seattle who in your area may not know this, it is the densest population, second densest population in the entire world, actually even more dense a Jewish population than Tel Aviv. So you're talking about the second densest Jewish population in the world, and I get calls every semester from parents saying, normally we would send our kids to a CUNY school in Brooklyn. We're sending them to Queens. We're sending them to other places because we don't think it's safe for Jews. They are scared. The Jewish people in that community are scared.
This is absolutely horrifying. So in the last few minutes we have with CUNY, Kingsborough Community College professor Jeffrey Lax, what comes next? I mean, do you have to wait for all decisions to come down on this? Is the chancellor's office doing anything? Is the New York media picking this up? Because I saw your story by accident.
Yeah, it's very frustrating because I'm a grandchild of 4 Holocaust survivors, and to me, politicizing anti-Semitism is abhorrent to me. I have my personal politics. It's irrelevant to this topic. And the problem is, it's just a reality, left-wing media do not cover this. They don't want to deal with, they only want to deal with if they hear about a Nazi in Iowa who does something anti-Semitic. They don't care about left-wing campus anti-Semitism. It's not something they want to cover. It's something that I struggle with on a daily basis because good people like you are few and far between, and it's very hard to get the word out there. We do get on different sources. We are trying to make it into an issue, and we are getting the word out, we think, the best we can. But it would be nice if CNN and MSNBC and all the mainstream left-leaning networks would cover, both sides of the anti-Semitism, because I don't distinguish personally between, which is worse, and they seem to.
Professor Lax, please stay in touch. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And any updates, please send them my way, because my brother went to the CUNY system. My sister went to the CUNY system. I went to Yeshiva University, should have gone to the CUNY system. I would have been better off at Queens College or Brooklyn or Kingsborough. But that's neither here nor there. But please keep us in touch. Keep in touch about this story. We want to know all the developments, all right?
Really appreciate it, Ari.